You're not giving me easy questions, man. I thought we are going to start with some casual conversations about, marketing, what B2B SaaS companies typically need.
Nope, I'm jumping in. We're going for it.
You're going for it.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 13 of B2B SaaS Marketing Snacks. I'm thinking about abbreviating it as BSMS in these intros because B2B SaaS Marketing Snacks is a decent mouthful. Stay tuned. I'll think about it. Yeah, no big intro for today. Today's episode is all about the things that make a great CMO from Stein himself. So if you're a CEO, this is a great nugget to help you think about the things that you should be looking for in a CMO or marketing leader. And if you're a marketer aspiring to become a great CMO, this is a great framework for things that you should be thinking about leveling up and maybe focusing some of your growth path around. All right, let's jump into it. All right, Stein. So you've been doing this for a long time now. In other words, you've seen some things. Is there any kind of formula for a great CMO? Like removing all of the considerations around skills, because we talked about that in a previous episode, right? The kind of skills you need to fill for a marketing team. But when you look at the characteristics of somebody, the makeup of their marketing leadership soul, so to speak, what are the core competencies or strengths that create a good CMO? So if you're, you've been a CEO, you've been a CMO, you've been a sales leader, and you've hired quite a few marketing leaders and CMOs for our clients on behalf of them. So what are the things that you look at, and what are the indicators that they're going to perform well as a marketing leader? What should the CEOs listening to the podcast be looking for, and what should the marketing leaders be kind of aspiring to build their skills around?
Yeah, Mike, when we hire CMOs on behalf of our clients or we coach a CMO, I found there are really sort of three areas of competency, capability, strengths to look for. And they sort of all are in addition to this all up thing that you need to think of a CMO as sort of the Leonardo da Vinci of the executive suite. It's sort of marketing is art and science, right? So you're looking for people who are either able to manage both of those sides of marketing because they've seen it, they've done it, they may have skills in both areas, or they just are very comfortable delegating and finding the right talent for the areas that they don't master themselves, right? But in the end, a good CMO can sort of lead, manage that all-up marketing function that has both the art side, right, branding, communication, the creative work, and the science side, demand gen, analytics, constant improvement. So those are basically these sort of two sides of the marketing coin. So what do we look for in a CMO? These three areas of competency are marketing leadership, marketing management, which is really different, and then delivering marketing with high ROI, delivering results, basically. So let's unpack each of those. So when you think of marketing leadership, the marketing VP or CMO is, of course, first and foremost the leader of your marketing team, right, or your marketing function. And whether it's a full-time CMO or even more important, when it's an interim CMO or a fractional CMO, something that we, of course, often do, having that sort of leadership role that comes natural or people want to follow you is really critical. So when I hire for CMO roles, I look for sort of that natural followership that they can generate. Followership by their team members, but also by their peers, right? How does the chief sales officer, the chief revenue officer think about the marketing leader? Does the chief product, have faith in sort of the market insights and the competitive analysis that the marketing team does and sort of help inform product strategy? So you have to start with that sort of question. Does this CMO command the right sort of level of followership amongst their team? their peers, but also, of course, the CEO and the board of directors, right, who are going to trust him or her with the brand of the company, with the brand voice, with the direction of the sort of content marketing, how you position yourself, how you position the products. So that would be sort of under marketing leadership, the first aspect of that, right? Driving that followership. The second part of marketing leadership, let's build a little bit on that sort of credibility, right? Does this CMO really command respect? Marketing is a very complex and especially very broad topic. So you need someone who can think on their feet, right? Who's sharp, who has significant, intellectual horsepower, while not necessarily being arrogant, right? But smart, but not arrogant, sort of a gentle, patient personality who actually comes with sort of real marketing gravitas. Ideally, I often look at, do they actually publish some content themselves, right? Does a good CMO have the experience and also the content? Do they bring enough sort of their own expertise that they've also been able to publish, right? And maybe get some digital followership. So that's interesting for me always to look at. What teams does this leader have experience leading, right? Team size, have they led teams in different stages of maturity, from a startup to maybe an enterprise environment? Cultural diversity, right? Teams either formal or more casual cultures, different languages, maybe countries. So it's sort of seeing a little bit of has this person led in an environment that's similar to where you expect this person to lead? What was the maturity of the teams they've led? Have they had to deal with people who are very new in their roles and people who are much more experienced? So your practice, flexibility in leadership styles, things like situational leadership. So that's something I look for as part of that marketing leadership. Do you see a track record of promotions, right? Marketing is an interesting discipline, and marketing leadership is really challenging, right? Because you'll see that a lot of marketers don't make it up to the 2-3 year mark of a job. They switch jobs a lot because marketing is always easy to scrutinize for either performance, brand awareness, demand gen. All kinds of challenges will be put in front of the marketing leader, and it means it's a hard job. So looking at sort of what their promotion track record is in role within the same organization is a really important indicator. It's again a function of this followership concept, right? If a marketing leader has been able to get their team to follow them, their CEO to trust them, their peers to respect them, that's the type of followership that typically leads to a VP of marketing being promoted to a CMO, or a director of marketing being promoted to a VP level. So that's something I look for. And then finally, all in this marketing leadership sort of bucket, is this CMO relatively versatile, complete? Have they touched on that art and the science side, as I started with? Have they been like both like the chief digital and the chief brand, right? Or at least have they had to manage someone in their team who owned that? So I think you have to be very clear that when you hire a CMO, if it's important for you, that person covers both those sides. Okay, that's marketing leadership. Then the second bucket of sort of assessment or development area, if you're more coaching someone, is managing the marketing function. So we go from marketing leadership to marketing management. Managing marketing is all about sort of running the marketing trains on time, having a budget, a marketing plan. What is the meeting schedule? How do you manage sort of the marketing rhythm, right? Team meetings, monthly planning meetings. Do you use OKRs? What type of plan do you typically build? Do you do stand-ups? What is sort of that marketing rhythm? Another very important part of managing marketing is that the CMO in the end is ultimately responsible for how a company shows up in the online, in the real world. what is the quality of the brand voice, the visuals, the text on the website, the quality of a press release. For all these things, sort of the buck stops with the CMO. So I look for someone who has attention to detail, who wants things to look really good, to look perfect, who will always double check things. You want someone who's been able and has a track record of managing a team of A players. Marketing professionals are hard to find, the good ones. You usually have to build them yourself, right? That's why in marketing you have a lot of interns. You have to develop your own team. So how much experience does this marketing leader have in both hiring, and potentially firing people, developing them, experiencing coaching the team? How have they dealt with top performers, right? And made sure they retain them, attracting talent and retaining that talent. And of course, talk about how they've worked with low performers. Is your marketing leader able to manage the marketing function both with a long and a short horizon? Right, marketing is the most how do you call it, sensitive function when it comes to balancing short-term priorities. Everybody wants to see those leads come into the funnel, like next month, next week. But also a long-term agenda, right? Looking around the corner to see what's the competition doing, what trends are emerging, how is my audience evolving, what market do we want to go after next, right? So is this marketing leader able to manage the marketing function both with long and short-term sort of priorities, have lagging and leading KPIs on the dashboard, so be able to sort of manage both that short and long-term view. And then finally, to be able to manage the marketing effectively, it does help if your CMO has relevant experience in, for example, the industry that you're in, the market segment that you're servicing. Have they experience in marketing to the size of customers, your SMBs versus enterprises? Have they worked with partners, partner ecosystem? Right. I think more than any other role in the executive suite, if the CMO understands and has experience in the specific market that you're in, I think that is very, very helpful. Then finally, also relevant experience. If you need to do an IPO, if you're, eyeing a new product launch, if you're thinking of, if you have to do a marketing or a market pivot, has this CMO managed that process before? So that's that second part, marketing management. And then finally, and this is maybe the the most obvious one, but I did want to talk about the other two buckets first. But in addition to marketing leadership and marketing management, of course, the marketing leader, the CMO, has to deliver on marketing ROI, right? Marketing in the end is measured by very specific numbers. It can be from more top of funnel metrics like brand awareness, like eyeballs and publications and things like that. But it usually focuses relatively heavily on the middle and bottom of the funnel, demand generation, leads that actually convert into opportunities for the sales team, that convert into customers, the right customers. So this third bucket, I call it marketing ROI, is all about vetting and developing your CMO in the area of demand generation, doing demand generation at the right cost, right? Not at any cost, right? It's easy to buy your way into a market, but that's of course not as as impressive as someone who can grow and drive demand without maybe breaking the bank. Here you do want to look at CMO's track record over the course of multiple years in a role. I think more than 2 years is important. If you have someone 3-4 years in a role, it's really cool because they will have had to build the marketing function, optimize it, and they've had at least a year to deliver results, right? And if someone succeeds in that, and they often also get a promo out of that, that's a great indicator that they've been able to deliver results. Results don't necessarily only have to be leads, right? It could be, a position in a Gartner Magic Quadrant. It could be winning a certain industry award. Maybe there's a certain market that this company that this CMO was responsible for is now dominating, right? Or a product category. Those are all great results. What I also think when you think of marketing ROI, is really key is again back to the team building, right? Are they able to hire talent, develop talent, attract talent, and retain them, right? That's still the best, the shortest route and the most sustainable route to high marketing ROI, because in the end, you just need a strong team, and that can really make the difference. So that's a couple of thoughts, Mike, on these three buckets of marketing leadership, marketing management, and marketing ROI that I like to use when I both try to hire great CMOs or when I have to help coach them and do development work with CMOs.